It then followed, Madam Speaker, with a 14-3 mandate. The love and appreciation the people of this country gave them. Madam Speaker, compare the returns the people got with such an overwhelming margin of victory. Compare it. Madam Speaker, any government with such a mandate would have stayed in office for almost 30 years. They did not last 10 years, Madam Speaker, because they failed the country, they failed the people miserably. And this is why, Madam Speaker, they are seated on the opposite side of this honorable House, Madam Speaker. Yep. You see, Madam Speaker, power does not necessarily reflect good governance. Not at all. That is what we are doing. That is what we are doing. And this is the beginning of fixing this broken economy. That's what we're doing. Madam Speaker, when the opposition had such mandate, isn't that the period in time you first heard of the destructive phrase, cost overrun? Started with them, cost overrun. And there are a number of projects with cost overrun, but we'll get to that later. Madam Speaker, isn't it true that this was the first time that a government institutionalized discrimination and victimization by way of the introduction of another destructive term, Madam Speaker, a term we are all familiar with, affirmative action. Affirmative action, Madam Speaker, simply means labor first. Labor first. Affirmative action. Madam Speaker, yes, Babono. At Babono had a platform by the then chairman of the political party. Affirmative action. Madam Speaker, I was baffled yesterday to have heard the leader of the opposition and members, and the member for Castries East, Madam, accusing this side of the House of victimization and vindictiveness. I was baffled. I thought he didn't know what he was talking about. Madam Speaker, ask them, Madam Speaker, who first introduced the phrase affirmative action in the public service? Who introduced affirmative action in the public service? Madam Speaker, it started in 1997 when the Labour Party came into office. And Madam Speaker, I know you have traveled many places around the world, and I'm certainly sure you've heard of a country, a part of the world called Siberia. Okay? Siberia, Madam Speaker, in Russia. Madam Speaker, do you know that we have a Siberia in the public service in St. Lucia? A Siberia, Madam Speaker, which was created from 1997 in the public service by the St. Lucia Labour Party. Affirmative action, vindictiveness, victimization, Madam Speaker, where members of the public service, whom they deemed supporters of the United Workers' Party, were placed in a special unit called Siberia. A special unit where basically they had almost nothing to do. Madam Speaker, Siberia was first located on the ground floor of one of the administrative buildings on the waterfront, next to the Public Service Reform Project Office. And the first victim of Siberia, he knows. He knows. he knows. The member for Castries East knows where it was located, Madam Speaker. Okay? And the first victim, Madam Speaker, was an accountant general and then permanent secretary. That was the first victim of Siberia under the St. Lucia Labour Party. And you all want to come and talk about vindictiveness? Huh? You want to talk about vindictiveness? Madam Speaker, it was from this point that the Labour Party started politicizing the public service. Madam Speaker, hard-working career public servants who genuinely had the interest of this country at heart became victims of affirmative action, victimized by the Labour Party. Madam Speaker, men and women who got themselves qualified and had years of experience in the service, suddenly, what did they see, Madam Speaker? An influx of disciples of the Labour Party and party hacks parachuting themselves into the public service. That is the result of affirmative action. Persons coming from the private sector, taking over public servants who had given years of service to the country, to the government, bypass them and put their hacks and their disciples at the hierarchy and various positions in the public service. But it didn't stop there, Madam Speaker. It didn't stop there with the influx from outside into the public service. Disciples at lower grade levels, grade 8, suddenly got promoted to grade 18, to grade 20, grade 14, to grade 20, grade 21. Persons come within months, they were made permanent, and you have public servants who have toiled the ground, who have worked hard in the public service. Yes, they cannot get promoted. But once the Labour Party is in office, it is affirmative action. And you all want to talk about vindictiveness? Madam Speaker, these practices are now costing the government significantly in low productivity, a high wage bill, and a deliberate delay in the implementation of policies and programs as a result of the actions of the St. Lucia Labour Party. But we are a resilient government, Madam Speaker. We are formidable men and women on this side of the House, and we are going to overcome the obstacles and deliver a new St. Lucia to the people of this country. Madam Speaker, I believe they are suffering from amnesia, or maybe they are conveniently forgetting when they are sitting on this side of the House. That's what is happening to them. It's either they are suffering from amnesia or they are conveniently forgetting the atrocities they created against the people of this country when they are on this side of the House, Madam Speaker. But let me refresh their memory. Madam Speaker, don't they remember the time they fired the free senators? The free senators for requesting more clarification regarding a shady matter brought before the Senate? They don't remember that? That's not victimization? That was not vindictiveness? And I'm sending a warning to the free senators they have in the background there. Watch yourselves. You speak against the Labour Party, and you'll see what's coming to you. Don't think everything is nice and sweet inside there. Okay? Anything, you're out. Madam Speaker? Member for Kashmir South. Madam Speaker, do you remember the abortion bill and how they treated the honorable member for Kashmir Central when she spoke against it? A young lawyer came into politics as a voice for the women and children of this country, the young girls of this country, because she spoke her mind, her freedom of speech, her religious belief, her morality. No, she was fired on national television. Wasn't that vindictiveness? Wasn't that victimization, Madam Speaker? Was after 222. And today, Madam Speaker, it's unbelievable, Madam Speaker. They said they have 20 years. Member for Kashmir is in the House. But today, of all days in the 20 years, yesterday, he wants to come and quote the Archbishop. In 20 years, only now you want to quote Archbishop Amero? You did not know there was an Archbishop before? Huh? Madam Speaker, when the commander stopped prayers in cabinet, he could not quote the Archbishop? Huh? When they stopped prayers in cabinet, why didn't you quote Archbishop Amero to him? You took the Mumu tablet back then. All of a sudden, yes, he wants to play acolyte. Go and play acolyte on the altar, not in this honorable house. What you should do is asking the Archbishop for forgiveness for the wrongs you all have done to this country and to the people.
Madam Speaker, the honorable member is reading his speech. You notice that?
Madam Speaker, look at how...
Is that a point of order? Continue, please.
Madam Speaker, I am referring to my notes. That's what I'm doing. Madam Speaker, look at how they treated the late George Odlum, who had done so much for them. They referred to him as the great Satan. That's not vindictiveness. That's not ingratitude. That's not ingratitude and vindictiveness. Because you all want to score cheap political points, you all are coming vindictiveness, victimization. That's a favorite word in your vocabulary in this debate. Madam Speaker, there's a George Mallet famous front speech in 1997 when the Governor General was embarrassed and humiliated in this honorable house. Madam Speaker, when that speech, when Sir George Mallet, the Governor General, read that first speech, the member for Castries South was not in this honorable house. He was in the background doing the work for them, but he was not seated at this side of the house. The member for Viewfort North was not on this side of the house in 97, Madam Speaker. My good friend, the member for Dennery North, was not in this honorable house. And I do not see him today as yet, the member for Labrie. He was not in this honorable house, Madam Speaker. So tell me, Madam Speaker, who were the architects of the 1997 front speech to embarrass and belittle the Governor General, Sir George Mallet? Who were the architects, Madam Speaker? The only one. Only two of them on this side of the house were present at the time. The commander and the second in command. They were the architects of that front speech in 1997. That was not vindictiveness. That was not victimization. Okay. Madam Speaker, earlier in the day, in the debate, I think it was yesterday, one of my colleagues spoke about it. The CCC workers were fired. I have to repeat it. Wasn't that victimization? I have to repeat it, Madam Speaker. Wasn't that vindictiveness? Madam Speaker, whenever the members on the opposite side are sitting where they are, they want to create chaos in this country. They want to obstruct every single thing, every single opportunities, plans, ideas that the United Workers' Party put forward. But I want to let them know, Madam Speaker, under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister and the men and women on this side of the House, they are not going to stand in our way. They are not going to stand in our way, Madam Speaker. And I say that, Madam Speaker, because on June the 6th, 2016, the people of St. Lucia spoke decisively. They gave us the mandate. They gave us the mandate to change this country, change the course, the direction that the Labour Party was taking this country. And this is what we are doing. This budget, this appropriation bill, the estimates of revenue expenditure is the beginning of that foundation to build a new St. Lucia, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the member for Castries South has been very excited from morning. I don't know what he drank before he came here this morning. What breakfast? Jufality? I don't know. But he made some statements regarding a few programs. The member spoke about NICE, Madam Speaker, how we victimize 1,000 workers. Send them home. Madam Speaker, the former Prime Minister have said on many occasions, NICE was temporary. It was a free program. And the only reason, Madam Speaker, they did not shut it down, they did not end it in 2015 because they knew election was in 2016. That was the only reason why they did not get rid of NICE. Because they knew NICE was not sustainable. They knew that $19 million they were borrowing was not sustainable. It was putting us a hole in the coffers of the country. Madam Speaker, we spoke of national trust. All of a sudden, I'm coming to Ojo Labs. All of a sudden, you all know national trust. You all are at the forefront of national trust. All matches, all meetings, you all are the spokespersons for national trust. The Honorable Prime Minister, Madam Speaker, said to the national trust, give the government a plan showing that you all can be a sustainable entity. A plan which is viable, a plan which is not going to create a further dent in the fiscal capacity of this country. But instead of going to get this plan formulated, no, they are advocating with the members on the opposite side. Madam Speaker, the Prime Minister have treated many other entities in the same way that the National Trust was treated. You heard of the Marketing Board, you heard of the Fish Marketing Corporation, you heard of Radio St. Lucia. What is the difference? Madam Speaker, and I'm going to give the National Trust and the members opposite a very good example of an entity that the National Trust should model after, the Soufrière Regional Development Foundation. Yes. The Soufrière Foundation, Madam Speaker, government have entrusted national sites to the Soufrière Foundation. The Sulphur Springs Park, and 4.5, 5 years ago, the Gros Piton. And this organization, Madam Speaker, is sustainable. They employ almost 200 people. The wage bill is almost $300,000 a month. The Soufrière Foundation. They're able to pay their wages. They're able to promote sports, youth development, just name it, in Soufrière, without getting a dollar from central government. They're not getting a dollar from central government. Okay? And National Trust have all those national assets. They cannot bring a plan to this government. That is what you're allowed to think about. The honorable member, yes, I do not know who was advising them, you know. The honorable member made mention of Hummingbird Beach. But madam, we stopped Hummingbird Beach because of victimization. Hummingbird Beach was not stopped. Sorry, Madam Speaker. The square. It was not stopped because of victimization. There was no plan, no traffic plan. They did not know what they were doing, Madam Speaker. Nothing was in keeping to the historical background, the heritage of the town. They put two big buildings right in front of the church. One for the pump room, one for the electrical room, Madam Speaker. Blocking the entire view of the church. The entire view of the church. There was a fountain that was going to cost $300,000, Madam Speaker.
The same church you're talking about, no?
Yes, the same church you're talking about. They want to block the church with a square. But now, they want to come and play acolyte. Madam Speaker, we stopped the project to review it, to redesign. And the project, in the estimates, is under the Ministry of Local Government. An allocation of $1,062,000 is there to recommend the square. We are nearing the completion of the design to start the project, Madam Speaker. That's why we stopped it, for review. Hummingbird Beach, I want to talk about victimization, Madam Speaker. Hummingbird Beach. When they came in office in 2011, we started this beach park facility for sustainable jobs in Soufrière, for the boaters, the water taxi operators, vendors, the cruise ship passengers. They did not lay one block at Hummingbird Beach. 5 years, not one block. No review. Why? Because Hummingbird Beach was the concept. It was conceptualized by Alan Shastri and the United Workers' Party. That's why. They victimized the people of Soufrière by not completing the Hummingbird Beach project. But Madam Speaker, I shall complete it because the money is there. United Workers' Party shall complete it, Madam Speaker. The member for Castries South, Madam Speaker, spoke of CHTI, talking about school, who own, who does not own, and so on. But they have more you have to come with. Madam Speaker, I remember in 2011, we had a wonderful program in Soufrière with young persons going to Sandals for some training in hospitality studies for 3 months. And this program, Madam Speaker, was again supported by the Soufrière Foundation in terms of transportation for the young people. And many of those young people, Madam Speaker, they graduated with their certificates, they got employed at hotels in the Soufrière area, some of them in Castries, Sandals retained a few of them, and many others got employed on the cruise ship. CHTI, Madam Speaker, is a similar program where young persons, especially young persons from the Soufrière area, Choiseul, Saltibus, Canaries, and Slurry, will get an opportunity to go there and learn a skill in the hospitality industry, Madam Speaker. And they are going to be given a stipend, Madam Speaker. That stipend is to help them with their buses, their lunch, and so on. But because of cheap politics, the member for Castries South have a different idea.
Madam Speaker, on a point of order, standing order 34A, the member is misleading the House. I did not say that CHTI is a program. I said it's a company that was set up, that was conducting training, and I asked, and since he's brought it before the House, he might wish to answer the question and follow the proper procedure. Who owns CHTI? Who are the principals? Who funded the training? I did not say it's a program. I'm not against the training program. I did not say I'm against the training program. I support training. I support jobs for young people. I asked, what is CHTI? Who owns it? How is it being paid? What the details? Now, since he has chosen to respond to me, Madam Speaker, can you ask him that the proper order is to provide answers to the question which I asked and to give all the details and make the documents of the House, please? Thank you very much.
Honorable Member and Minister, yes, you have raised an issue that was alluded to, or you seem to be giving or adding to issues raised by a previous speaker. And at the end of the day, I need to ask you, if you're making reference to it, however, he's asked for questions. You need not necessarily answer his questions.
Madam Speaker, when he gives us answers regarding Jufali and Grenberg, I'll answer him.
Madam Speaker, on a point of order. Madam Speaker, can you, is a point of order, Madam Speaker? 34A?
Point of order?
Point of order. Madam Speaker, it is correct parliamentary procedure. And if the member had only read the document you circulated yesterday, if a minister or parliamentary secretary refers to an official government program document and another member asks that it be made a document of the House, I am entitled to do so. This morning in my presentation, I ask a question. The honorable member chooses to answer me, and when I indicated to him what he was saying was wrong and misleading the House, instead I ask questions, and if he's answering the questions, at least the documents he's referring to make it a document of the House. His response, quite out of order, is to refer to a matter, provide an answer on a matter which is a judicial matter. And Madam Speaker, standing order is very clear on those matters that a member, standing order 45, but notwithstanding that, Madam Speaker, notwithstanding that, because I'm not afraid of the question he asked, in the court of law, all those things will play out. But it's unbecoming of the member of Soufrière to suggest what he just did, and more so when I am making a request which is proper and in order of the House, his response is totally out of order. And I think, Madam Speaker, you should say so to him. And can I repeat, Madam Speaker, since he has chosen to answer my question and he's referring to details of a government program, I am asking that it be made a document of the House. The procedures, and you circulated it yesterday, at the time when I asked for the document, he is supposed to make it a document of the House. And Madam Speaker, kindly.
Honorable Member for Castries South, on the issue of whether the Honorable Member and Minister referred to a document I do not know that he referred to a document.
That's right, Madam Speaker.
I do not know that he has referred to a document. He has not referred specifically to a document. Right, that is one. Honorable member and member for Soufrière Forcé-Jacques and Minister. You are just treading into waters that are dangerous, in that the honorable member is right to say, as regards Standing Order 35-2, as we understand it, you are making reference to matters now that are becoming, that are in the purview of the court, as I understand it. And you will refrain. Am I to understand, Member for Castries South, am I to understand that as regards Jufali matter, it's in the courts?
Madam Speaker, there's no secret, and the member from Maple South can attest to that.
And if the issue of the involvement of member for Castries South in a Jufali matter is before the courts, honorable members shall refrain on the Standing Order 35. Honorable member for Castries South, what is before the court?
Madam Speaker, we're in the Parliament of St. Lucia. We're in the Parliament of St. Lucia. I asked a question about CHTI, a bona fide question. No, yeah. The Speaker has asked me what is before the court. Madam Speaker, we are all aware that there is a matter before the courts of St. Lucia against comments which were made by the member for Maple South, and which the court, and we know that's a matter before the court. Madam Speaker, we can spend hours debating if it's before the court.
Okay.
The question is the response given by the member was inappropriate in response to
okay,
what I
honorable
said.
member for Castries South, there is a matter before the court that is purely defamatory in as regards defamation of character. Okay? Now, there may be issues with respect to Jufali or otherwise that will be brought in it, but it is not the substance, the main substance of the matter before the court. That being said, honorable member for Soufrière Forcé-Jacques, the honorable member asked a question. You can choose to ask his you can choose to answer his question if you so choose, but at the same time, we need to have some order and respect in this honorable house. It is an honorable house. The word honorable has to mean something, that there is honor in, and members must respect each other in that vein. And I'm seeing I'm seeing whilst there is a difference between in our local parlance speakong and what is coming out that can be and is definitely very disrespectful to each other. And honorable member for Soufrière Forcé-Jacques, if you choose to be so distracted by the honorable member, you would, and you wish to answer, your response would be that which that has been directed at you in terms of an answer to his question. Can we please continue?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I shall continue, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the honorable member gave us some cruise ship numbers, but I believe the numbers were up to 2015. What he didn't tell us, Madam Speaker, was the cruise ship numbers, the arrivals, declined by 13% in 2016. He never told us that, Madam Speaker. But I know there are other persons who are going to deal with this matter, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Let me take a moment to touch on some of the policies of my ministry. Madam Speaker, for housing, this government's policy on housing aims to make affordable homes available to all income groups, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, particularly for those in low-income bracket. We are catering for all generations, particularly the young persons of this country. Permit me, Madam Speaker, to reiterate my belief that every young St. Lucian should own a piece of this country, whether it is land or house. And this is the objective, this is the aim of this government. We want to make it a reality, Madam Speaker, not a dream. Again, Madam Speaker, we intend to make those homes available through a public-private partnership in the main. And we are determined to make it a success story, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, previous success stories in housing under the United Workers' Party includes Lapanse Housing Scheme, Entrepot and Independent City, Sunny Acres, and many others. These housing projects, Madam Speaker, are part of our government strategy for poverty alleviation and the raising of the standard of living amongst our people. We will make them success stories for future generations to cherish and be proud of, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are determined not to fail like our opponents on the other side of this honorable house. We have taken note of their failed housing projects, such as, Madam Speaker, the River Dore project, where a joint venture agreement, Madam Speaker, between NHC and BAU, NHC BAU. Madam Speaker, NHC BAU is indebted to the local contractor in the amount of $8 million EC, which includes a court judgment of March 25, 2016, and accumulated interest. Madam Speaker, there is an inhibition order by the court placed on the lands, which is some 58.22 acres or 229 residential lots. NHC, Madam Speaker, cannot proceed with any dealings until this matter is resolved. But we are going to look into it, Madam Speaker, and under this administration, we are going to bring closure to this matter with NHC BAU. Madam Speaker, there are more failed joint ventures. There is another one, NHC Livity, which, Madam Speaker, is so confusing. We don't even know where to start, far less where to end with this one. Madam Speaker, you have the NHC agreement between NHC and JLDP Incorporated. Lands to be acquired, transferred to the company. JLDP wants 60% of pre-sale of land, Madam Speaker, and house. Pre-sale of land and house prior to the commencement of the development. Another issue at hand for this government. Try having to clean the mess left behind by the members opposite. Madam Speaker, the Moshi housing, a problem. Madam Speaker, house is poorly built, incomplete, no tiling, no painting, no partitions, no cupboards, and difficult to sell the houses, Madam Speaker. Over $300 a square foot it costs to build the houses. And if, Madam Speaker, you hire any contractor to build your private home for you, it will not cost $300 a square foot to build it. But the Moshi houses cost $300 and more a square foot to be built. Duty-free project, that's right. With our housing policy, Madam Speaker, there will be no such failures, as we target 2,500 to 3,000 homes and 3,500 house lots, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, moving to transport. Madam Speaker, my government strategy for the transport sector insofar as the first year of the 4-year country plan articulated by our Prime Minister is rooted in the new licensing database, which I spoke about in the first part of this budget debate. Madam Speaker, the policy decision taken is primarily geared towards improving the licensing system, providing a driver's license which meets international standards as a travel document, facilitating the work of our traffic courts and law enforcement agencies, and making the usage of our roads safer, Madam Speaker. Speaking of safety on our roads, Madam Speaker, permit me to express my deepest sympathy to the family, friends, and well-wishers of the two young ladies who died tragically in this road accident a few weeks ago, Madam Speaker. As the people of this country know full well, Madam Speaker, this UWP government is a caring government, Madam Speaker. And in that regard, we have examined further the critical issues that could make driving on our roads safer. Madam Speaker, we share the concern of many that we need to do something about reckless driving on our roads. Madam Speaker, one life lost is one too many, and it is time that we act. Madam Speaker, this recent accident has caused the revival of this pertinent question: what could be done to minimize and discourage dangerous and careless driving on our roads? And Madam Speaker, in this financial year, we'll be looking into Section 179 of the Motor Vehicle Road Traffic Act, which speaks of a demerit point system for driver's licenses in relation to traffic convictions and offenses. Madam Speaker, I am convinced that the policy directions outlined by the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance shall positively impact all the people of this country, and more directly, Madam Speaker, my people of Soufrière and Fosse-Jacques. Madam Speaker, I am pleased of the prospective job opportunities listed in the policy statement articulated by the Prime Minister. Madam Speaker, I am pleased that this administration has seen it fitting to allocate resources to the National Apprenticeship Program, a program, Madam Speaker, which I believe will benefit my constituency of Soufrière tremendously. Madam Speaker, we have almost 100 students graduating from Soufrière Comprehensive School in July. And 5 years ago, you had almost that same number. We heard that in the Prime Minister's budget address, you have approximately 22,000 young people unemployed. And I believe that this program, Madam Speaker, is going to alleviate some of the unemployment problems we have amongst the youth.
Honorable Member, can you clarify something for me? I hear everybody referring to National Apprenticeship Program. But isn't it that the abbreviation is NAPP, National Apprenticeship Placement Program? Is that what it is? What is it? NAP, National Apprenticeship Program.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Madam Speaker? Okay. Madam Speaker, we all know that Soufrière is known as the Mecca of tourism and home to three of the most beautiful and renowned in St. Lucia and probably the Caribbean. And Madam Speaker, I'm very pleased government's tourism policies will provide a more sustained constituency. Madam Speaker, the policy of this government to encourage and promote freestyle development is welcome, Madam Speaker. And I know this policy, Madam Speaker, will help small freestyle resorts like Hotel Chocolat, which I believe members on this side of the House have alluded to. And Hotel Chocolat, Madam Speaker, is in the process of building an additional 10 villas, 6-bedroom, 10 villas. So you're looking at an additional 60 hotel rooms in Soufrière. So, Madam Speaker, there is going to be some employment not only in the construction phase of this development, but after construction, Madam Speaker. The Fondou Resort, Madam Speaker, is also expanding. So that is going to create employment in the industry in Soufrière. And I know the Stonefield Resort, they have a plan for expansion as well, Madam Speaker. So I welcome this policy of the Freestar Barons Drive that, and they cannot see anything happening with the money. 90% of the tax was paid by foreigners, Madam Speaker. 90%. But because of their lack of vision and foresight, they remove it, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the agricultural policies the Prime Minister articulated will bring immense benefit to my constituency. Madam Speaker, we know agriculture contributes significantly to the GDP of this economy and also plays a critical role, Madam Speaker, in the livelihoods of persons living in the rural sector, the rural parts, the rural communities of the country. So, Madam Speaker, Feeder roads play a critical role in the output and productivity of the sector. And I look forward, Madam Speaker, for assistance from the Minister's responsibility for agriculture, particularly for the following feeder roads in my constituency of Soufrière-Fonssac, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are looking at clearing the landslide to Edmonds Forest, and I'm speaking of the landslide on the road which is next to Mr. Edison, going all the way, Madam Speaker, to Mamini. This is a very, very important road. The soil is very fertile, and this is where you can get some of the best cabbages, carrots, tomatoes, dashing, and so on in Fonssac. So, Honorable Minister, I'll be knocking on your doors for assistance to clear this landslide by Mr. Edison going to Mamini. Madam Speaker, the River Dore Road and Massige roads in Fonssac, we need to clear this road, to open this road, Honorable Minister for Agriculture. And also, Madam Speaker, we need to complete the Dewash Road for the farmers of Fonssac. We know, Madam Speaker, Fonssac is said to be the breadbasket of St. Lucia. And I know if those feeder roads are given appropriate attention, the people of Fonssac will be extremely happy, and we are going to see a very, very big difference in the standard of living of the people of Fonssac, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there is an increase in interest of youth involvement in agriculture in my constituency, and I am pleased that this government have considered promoting entrepreneurship in agriculture through the Youth Agri Enterprise Facilitation Program, YEP. Madam Speaker, I'm very pleased, and I am going to continue encouraging the young people to become entrepreneurs in this growing sector of our economy. Madam Speaker, the infrastructure policy includes major rehabilitation of roads throughout the island. Madam Speaker, as we know, the roads in Soufrière are in a deplorable condition, and also throughout the island, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, I support the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance for the excise tax which we have placed on the fuel, which is going to go for the rehabilitation and upgrading of the roads on this island, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member, you have 15 more minutes within which to complete your presentation.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, for the past 3 years, not a single dollar was allocated on the West Coast Road, Madam Speaker. Not a single dollar. And the member for Castries East was the former Minister for Infrastructure, a road which is so critical for the socio-economic development of St. Lucia and Soufrière. Yep, new development. I'm extremely happy, very pleased that there's an allocation in the estimates for the West Coast Road, and the proceeds from this tax, Madam Speaker, will go a long way in helping the problem of the bad roads that we have not only in Soufrière, but throughout the island. And Madam Speaker, we were very frank, very transparent. We came out and we tell the people we are putting $1.50 excise tax on the gas. It is going to go into a lockbox, and that money is going to be used specifically, Madam Speaker, for road rehabilitation and road upgrading. We didn't hide anything, Madam Speaker. The people will see where the money is going. But the members on the opposite side, Madam Speaker, they put 66.5% on water to desil the dam. 4.5 years. Did they desil the dam? 4.5 years, they did not desil the dam. But they said that the ADT tax, the people of St. Lucia not seeing where the money going, nothing has been done with the money. But 66.5% on water, and up to now, we did not see any desilting, Madam Speaker. So we are telling the people that the $1.50 excise tax on gas is going to go into road repairs, and starting next month, they should see works going throughout the island on road rehabilitation and upgrading, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I am very happy, Madam Speaker, from day one, the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance said, we are not going to borrow any additional monies if we do not have a revenue stream for that borrowing. He said it many times. from day one. And I have to applaud the Honorable Prime Minister for thinking out of the box and being creative and innovative, unlike the members on the opposite side, to take care of our crumbling infrastructure, which is going to cost $479 million, Madam Speaker, and put this levy for road rehabilitation and upgrading. Madam Speaker, I look forward to the Minister of Infrastructure assisting my constituency in the rehabilitation of the following roads. The roads in new development. Terrible, Madam Speaker. For almost 30 years, nothing has been done on the roads at new development. But I want to tell my people of new development that in this financial year, the roads will get attention. I will work to repair those roads at new development, Madam Speaker. The roads at Fourmenier, the Boulevard, Town Extension, Madam Speaker, Font Saint-Jacques through Belplaine, Boisden, Mini, Belfond, all those roads need urgent attention, and I look forward to getting the assistance from the Minister of Infrastructure for rehabilitating those roads. Madam Speaker, a road which is also a priority and of critical importance to get reopened and reconstructed is the Esperance through Diamond Road. Very critical road, Madam Speaker, to get the people of Font Saint-Jacques in and out of Soufrière. Because the road, Madam Speaker, on the other side which we are currently using is already been undermined by the river. And God forbids we are entering the hurricane season, anything could happen. So this road, Honorable Minister of Finance and Minister of Infrastructure, I would like some assistance in getting this road reopened for the people of Esperance and Font Saint-Jacques, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I embrace the policy for education revolution by this administration. Madam Speaker, we must develop our human resource to be globally competitive in this fast-paced world. Madam Speaker, attention must be given to our learning institutions from the level of early childhood to provide the support that is needed to revolutionize our learning abilities through modern learning practices. And Madam Speaker, the schools in Soufrière, I believe that the member for Choiseul alluded to the conditions of his schools in Choiseul. All the schools on the island, Madam Speaker, needs urgent attention. The physical plant is deplorable. It's an eyesore when you go to the schools. The kitchens, the washrooms, the classes, the boards, the windows. And these environments are not conducive to learning, Madam Speaker. So we must act, and we must act fast on our schools, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the health of your nation is of paramount importance. And I fully support my government's policy geared towards the healthcare reform in our country. Madam Speaker, this policy speaks to the much needed attention which is required at our health facilities. Madam Speaker, let me speak more directly on the situation of the Soufrière Hospital, Madam Speaker. As we speak, Madam Speaker, an environment and impact assessment is being undertaken. And the study, Madam Speaker, is to inform a decision of the options of keeping the hospital in its current location or finding another suitable location for it. As you know, Madam Speaker, this hospital was built in the early 1940s, and it has been undermined many times by the river, with flooding the foundation and the structure and so on. So this is the reason for undertaking this environmental impact assessment, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the residents of Soufrière, Font Saint-Jacques and surrounding areas, as well as visitors, I look forward to the findings of the report, one way or the other, and know how we are going to proceed with the Soufrière Hospital, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we will continue to improve the services at the hospital to provide the quality health care to our residents and the many visitors who come to the shores of Soufrière on a daily basis. Madam Speaker, I am pleased that this administration is giving attention to sustainable development. And Madam Speaker, with a town with the world's only driving volcano, we look forward in the advancement of more conservative ways to attain energy. Madam Speaker, I am aware that there are ongoing efforts towards geothermal energy, and I am hoping we can exploit all options to manufacture this possibility in St. Lucia particularly in my town of Soufrière. Madam Speaker, this, Madam Speaker, provides an opportunity for job creation and improve on the human resource capacity of our people. And this as well, Madam Speaker, can be linked with the education, the revolutionization of the education system to get the scholarships, get the training of our people in St. Lucia and Soufrière into that field of geothermal energy. Climate change, Madam Speaker, no doubt is alive and real. And if there is one constituency, Madam Speaker, that has suffered from the effects of climate change, it is Soufrière. Heavy rains and sea swells. And I applaud the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance for his budget presentation when he spoke of climate change and doing whatever we can to address the negative impact of this on our society. In summing up, Madam Speaker, I fully support the Prime Minister's plan to reform, transform, and modernize this country. This budget, Madam Speaker, is a 4-year plan. 4 years. It is not a 1-year plan. It is a 4-year visionary plan for this country. Madam Speaker, this government is focused in fixing the problems of this country. Madam Speaker, the maladies of this country will not be fixed in one budget cycle. You cannot. Too much damage was done by the members opposite to this economy, and it cannot be fixed in 1 year, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are working to build in investors' confidence, creating jobs, and to make this country the best place to live, Madam Speaker, to work and to invest. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for having me as part of his team of workers to build a new St. Lucia. Madam Speaker, I also wish to thank my cabinet colleagues, the men and women on this side of the House, for their wise counsel, guidance, and support for the past 11 months. A team of men and women, Madam Speaker, who are committed, dedicated to the task ahead, the task of building a new St. Lucia. Finally, but not least, Madam Speaker, permit me to extend sincere appreciation and gratitude to the wonderful staff of the Departments of Economic Development, Housing, Urban Renewal, Transport, Civil Aviation for their continued support. I look forward for the implementation of the
Honorable Prime Minister.
Well, Madam Speaker, seeing that there is apparently no one else who wants to debate this thing, it's only left for me at this moment to consider what our choices are. So on that note, Madam Speaker, maybe I should ask for a suspension of the House for 10 minutes.
You beg to move for suspension.
Madam Speaker, can I ask that it be moved that the House be suspended for 10 minutes?
Honorable members, the question is that this honorable House do stand suspended for 10 minutes, in which case we will resume at 3:30 sharp. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. This House is suspended until 3:30.
All rise.
You are watching the live coverage of the debate on the 2017-2018 Appropriation Bill. The House has gone into a 10-minute recess. Stay tuned to the National Television Network for continued coverage.
Or rather allow